our morning keynote presentation, which is a pretty exciting presentation. Its title is 21 Apps You Can't Live Without, but I think you're really going to be surprised at those apps. Now, it says in your program, and it's true, that Judith Dixon, Dr. Judith Dixon, is our keynote speaker, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. And her teammate is also going to be speaking with, that is her husband, Doug Wakefield, is also going to be joining Judy at the podium. So this is all very exciting to us. Let me tell you a little bit about Judy, and I know she's going to introduce Doug. We have two fantastic people here. Judy is Consumer Relations and Braille Development Officer at the Library of Congress. She's been there for 32 years, and all that time she's been concerned with various aspects of reading for people with print limitations. In recent years, of course, the advent of new technologies has brought about hugely increased availability of information access to various types of assistive technologies and services, and Judy's been at the forefront of all of that. Judy has a BA from Stetson University in DeLand, Florida, from 1974. She has an MA from Adelphi, right here in Garden City, and she has a PhD in psychology from Adelphi as well. She is the recipient of the Francis Joseph Campbell Award from the American Library Association for her years of excellent work in the field of library services for people who are blind and physically handicapped. And she's also a recipient of the Gallagher Award from the American Foundation for the Blind as someone who is a fantastic role model for other persons with vision loss. I am going to stop there because Judy's got articles and books, and she's chaired the Braille Authority of North America. She's just been a fantastically influential and important person in the whole area of Braille and reading and technology for folks. Please help me welcome Dr. Judith Dixon and Doug Wakefield.
Thank you very much, Karen. I always, when I hear these introductions, sometimes I think to myself, who on earth are they talking about? I'm sure this can be me. After all these years, I actually lived in Manhattan for some years, and I live on 29th and Lexington, right very close to where we are now. So I'm hoping to walk up and tap on my old front door just to see if the place is still standing. But that was also 32 years ago. So I left New York in June of 1981, and I have missed it a lot. I loved living in when you're in Manhattan, you just feel like you're at the center of the universe. And I'm very, very happy to be here. And what we're going to do this morning, about a year ago, my husband, Doug Wakefield, who's also here, I'll tell you more about in a minute, but he and I co-authored a book called 21 Apps We Can't Live Without. And the reason why it was 21, a lot of people ask us that, and 21 is what happened to survive after they took out the ones that suddenly weren't available anymore and various reasons. I mean, National Braille Press had done 26 apps, and anyway, it's just a number. It means nothing. But this morning, what we're going to do, since that was a year ago, and you don't want to hear about those apps, because of course all of you have read the book, what we're going to do this morning, since this conference is really about employment, and we're going to talk about 21 apps that are really cool and will help you do really useful things.
9. Slide to unlock. Messages. Light detector. Light detector.
Kind of hard to show a light detector in a room like this.
Light detector.
The whole room's full of light.
Double tap to open.
But since the iPhone uses its little camera for the light detector, this light detector is actually precise enough to even detect the lights on a phone, if you still happen to have an old-fashioned phone that has lights. but you could use it to detect individual small lights, LEDs on any kind of a device you might need to detect the light about. Okay, I'm going to introduce Doug Wakefield, who's going to do the next app. In addition to being my husband, Doug's other claim to fame is, I'm gonna pay for that. I think Doug's claim to fame is Section 508. During the previous decade, Doug was the designated federal official, worked for the Access Board, developing regulations for 508. But that's another day and another topic and another presentation, and we're not going to talk about 508 today. So here's Doug to tell you about something more interesting.
Excuse me, I have to bend the gooseneck a little bit because Judy's a little shorter than I am. All right, let's get this on.
Page 1 of 4. Adjustable. Slide up or down with one finger to adjust the value.
Okay, what we have up here, by the way, that you're hearing are two what are called jam boxes. And these are really nifty little units that put out a big, big sound. Apple sells them, but also a place actually called, what are they called? Not Jambox, but Jawbone. Okay, I'm make sure that I'm connected.
How to unlock. Light detector.
Okay, light detector, again, it's, Judy has it on hers, I have it on mine, but we're talking now about essential apps that, for example, light detector. Judy is my light detector. She can still see the difference between red and white wine. And and the ophthalmologist called that not useful vision. But when she's on travel, I kind of like to get the lights out, so I walk around and turn it on. Okay, so next thing I need to do, and this doesn't take but a minute, is I want to show you probably one of the most vital that we've run into, and this is called the money identifier. Let me flip over to that.
Around me. Taxi Magic. NOAA free.
Back up.
Text around. One pass. Navigate. Blue Connect. Settings. Area ID GPS. Money reader.
Now, you may have noticed if you are a iPhone user without using VoiceOver, my gestures are different than yours. And that's because VoiceOver actually introduces special gestures so that if you can't see the screen, you're still able to do it. So let me activate.
Money reader. Money reader running.
And I'll turn it so that the camera is, I'm using the back camera. There are two cameras on the phone, front, back. And now, you're going to be able to see the money before the phone does.
$20. $10.
He gave me the money. Okay, now, we're going to move on to an area that starts getting into, do you know which way you're going? And I'm going to turn it back to Judy because Judy's the only person I know who is constantly saying, it's on the north side. Judy hasn't got any idea. So she can tell you about compasses.
Page 2 of 4. Books folder. 8 apps. Money reader running. Tap to open.
one of the things we're discovering here is we can't use our phones to get ready for the next thing without you guys hearing them. Okay, so one of the things that's built into the phone, and is a very useful app,
Page 2 of navigation, map compass.
is a compass.
Double tap to open.
And it's a very cool compass,
0 degrees F.
and it is completely accessible.
96 degrees east.
96 degrees east, 94 degrees east. So,
93 degrees east. 85 degrees east. 96 degrees east.
so as I'm turning the phone, can you,
94 degrees east.
Doug, can you turn the phone?
95 degrees east.
Yes. As I'm turning the phone, you actually can hear
88 degrees east. 85 degrees east. 74 degrees east. 86 degrees east.
this is a very simple app. There are other
119, 64 degrees northeast.
There are other apps that also do compass things, and GPS apps. Okay, hush, hush, thank you. We don't need to know that anymore.
Double tap to open.
There are other apps that a lot of GPS type things. We're going to go through a couple of them pretty quickly. Okay.
We're moving on to the area of GPS. And there are GPS applications out there that actually work very well, that have not been designed specifically to be used with voiceover. In other words, they're not designed to be used by somebody who is visually impaired. You want me to skip Navigon? Okay. Navigon is not going to run it because I'd have to go run around the room and probably get out on the street to show you anything. But it is very route oriented. Most of the GPS programs that are out there are route oriented. In other words, how do I get from here to there? Plans a route, tells you when to turn. I tried it on the train yesterday, and it got to a point, and it said, in 500 feet, turn right. And I said, this is going to be good. Anyway, the next move was to programs that actually were more useful for visually impaired people. And one of the first ones, I believe it was developed in Germany, it's called Ariadne. And the Apple Development Conference a couple of, less than a year ago, started out with this guy walking through woods in Germany. And it turned out that he was able to do it even though he was blind, because he was using this Ariadne GPS on his Apple iPhone. So, let's get
Audible. Options Express. Reminders. Calendar. Mail. Navigon Now. Calendar. Remind. Options X. Audible. Money Reader. Ariadne GPS. Ariadne GPS. Where am I? Button.
well, let's ask it.
E24th Street 171-199 for Mercy Barrett College, Manhattan.
I didn't do anything. That's pretty good. This does not do routes. However, it does give you a continuing flow of information as to the block you're on, the street you're on, the direction you're going. And if you want to have fun with the driver, you can also tell them how fast they're going. So again, this is rather, why GPS for a blind person? We haven't had any way until very recently to distinguish money. Now we can distinguish money, and we don't give $20 bills for a $10 cab ride. In Washington, D.C., you might not get your change. Now, in the area of GPS, I was giving a presentation back in several years ago. It was out in Berkeley, California. I said, if you have a GPS setup and you are running it, and you're blind, you can't get lost. And a couple of O&M instructors were there, and they gave a big guffaw. Well, if you know where you are, and you have a program that you can say, take me home, which is all of them do, and you have your home address in there, it will give you directions. The only thing a GPS does not know is whether it's safe for you to cross this six-way intersection. Okay, I got to clear that out. I'm going to turn it back to Judy, because sort of the king of GPS for blind people, it comes from...
Lexington A49.
Yeah,
Capital
okay.
W.
I'll let her do it. It's,
Whiskers. Home. Area ID GPS.
I'm actually,
What password?
let's see, should I show this or what should we do?
Home. Messages.
Another
Double tap to open.
GPS app that's actually not in the App Store yet, but it will be,
Seeing Eye
I
GPS.
think in a couple of weeks, is
Double
called
tap to open.
Seeing Eye GPS. And
Seeing Eye
this
GPS.
app
Look
is
around wallet. On
being
button.
sponsored by,
Facing 117 degrees southeast. Near.
it also,
333rd A. New York. New York. 10010. Location accuracy. Within 197 feet. Altitude.
Now-
118 feet.
these apps are not, these apps are not really happy
Button.
being indoors. They will certainly work better outside. So, but the Seeing Eye GPS app is being developed by Sendero Group. They're the folks who did the GPS programs that have been on note takers for years. And it was funded also by the Seeing Eye. So we have a beta version here, and it's working very well. It does do routes, and you can actually tell it, I want to go to the Empire State Building, and it would tell you turn by turn. And if you're walking, it'll beep about some number of feet before the intersection, and you can set that number of feet. So it might be 50 feet. And it's amazing how accurate it is. And then right now it's set accurate to 174 feet. But if we were out on the street and it was a clear day, it would say accurate to 16 feet, because that's the most accurate it can get. And often it might say accurate to 33 feet. But it works very well.
Seeing Eye GPS.
It's a really nice app that's
Double tap to open.
coming along. Now, if you are employed or going to be, if you're employed, you're going to make money. And if you make money, you have to spend it. And one of the things that is very cool on the iPhone is shopping. And just two of
Page
my,
3 of 4. Settings. Page 3 of 4. VO timer.
don't panic, I'll set it back down in a
Double
second.
tap to open. Recording folder. Reference folder. Scanning barcodes. Scanning text folder. Shopping folder. 15 new items. 10 apps. Opening shopping folder.
Besides going to Starbucks and paying for my coffee with my phone, which I absolutely love doing, because when I pay with my phone, I feel like it's free. You know? I just shine my phone at this little box they have, and it goes beep, and they give me my coffee. So, I mean, I didn't pay for anything. Oh, I know.
Amazon.
But an app that it is absolutely fabulous on the phone is Amazon.
Search field. Is edited.
And you can just
Browser mode.
type something into the search field and search for whatever you're looking for and buy it. It's a really, really accessible app on the phone. Is Amazon. It's wonderful.
Miss Gloria. Shopping. Open.
Oh, I was looking for a book. Yes.
Amazon. Shopper.
Another really
One
nice
button.
app
Starbucks. Peapod.
is Peapod.
Double tap to open.
This is a grocery app.
Peapod.
And
In progress. New
Right,
arrivals.
right before Thanksgiving, I was in Thailand, and I looked on Peapod and I looked at the shopping list that Doug had done, and there wasn't any cranberry sauce on it. And I'm sitting there at midnight in the Bangkok airport, and I added cranberry sauce to our shopping order before the expiration time they had to get in the orders. And when I got home, the cranberry sauce was already there, which is amazing.
More. Heading help. List. Contact us. Log out. List. Have more new arrivals. Browse aisles. Specials. My lists. Guess my order registered sign.
And guess-
One touch adds frequent purchases.
Yeah, guess my order. You can start and put in guess my order,
Guess my order registered. Guess my order registered sign. Link.
and then it'll actually put in
Guess my order registered.
the
Link.
things that you frequently buy.
Guess my order registered sign. Link. Cancel. Link. Start your order by adding the items you frequently registered sign. Guess my order. Heading level 1. Cancel. Guess my order registered. Guess my order registered sign. View cart. Link. View cart. Link. Item S has been added to your cart based on your 11.
11 items were added to my cart.
View cart. Item S has been added to view cart. Link. View cart. Link. Increase quantity plus. Button. $3.69. Item detail. Chamonix Greek fruit on the bottom, yogurt, strawberry, banana, 2% low fat.
Very cool. So shopping
Shopping.
with your iDevice. And the stuff we're talking about today is not just iPhone. You can do these things with an iPod Touch, with an iPad, and other iDevices work similarly. Okay, where are we going from here? Okay, we're going to kind of go back outside again and talk a little bit about Out and About. One of our favorite apps is an app called Around Me. Doug, you want to do Around Me?
Empty
Going
list.
to talk about Around Me, and it's been very handy.
Empty
because,
list.
It means, no, I want you to get back to the home. Yeah.
Home. Light detector.
This is very handy because often when you go someplace and you say, I want to know what's around, say, for lunch, or where can I go for coffee? Well, this is a program that will let you search the surrounding area, but it has one other.
Mail. Calendar. Reminder. Option text. Audible. Taxi Magic. NOAA free. Taxi. Around me. One password. Navigate. One password. Around me. Around me.
Now, one of the things that's neat about this is that you can use it to plan ahead. And so you aren't stuck with it only telling you what's around you, where you are. So when I was at home in Arlington, Virginia, I put in an address up here in New York.
Hotels. Third A. New York. Settings. Button. Third A. Settings. Button. Third A. New York.
Okay.
Globe icon. Button.
Okay, so it says that,
Third A. New York.
whatever that is, Third Avenue, New York. Okay, so.
Around up 83. Around me. Headed. Around me. Headed.
Now, there are some categories.
Search. Local guides. Apple retail stores.
Always, now, we found the only Apple retail store within anywhere around the Grand Central Station.
Bank/ATM. Bars. Coffee shops. Favorites. Gas stations.
So,
Hospitals. Hotels. Movie theaters. Movies. Nearby. Parking. Pharmacies. Clubs. Pharmacies. Pharmacies. Around me. Back button. Pharmacies. Icon options. Wayne Reed. 0.09 miles. 161 E 23rd Street, PLPG 1, New York. Gramercy Drugs. 0.11 miles. 220 E 23rd Street, New York.
so, I could pick anything, or I could just say, what's near me, and it would give you the whole, what it thought was important. Now, you find something, you know where it is, you could put in the route into your GPS if you wanted to, We have a service that is in about 40 cities. You probably have a similar service here. I just didn't get a chance to look it up. We have a service that's going across the country called Taxi Magic. Taxi Magic,
Park.
I don't want to call it taxi because
Around
they'll
me.
send one from here to take me all the way back to Virginia, and it would be very
What password? Around me. Taxi Magic.
I don't even know.
Taxi Magic. Taxi Magic.
Yeah.
Settings. Button. When should we pick you up?
So then I get to choose when I'm going to be picked up, either,
I'm ready to go. Button. Pick me up later. Button.
or I could do it later, and within, a 15-minute, 10, 10:15, 10:30, et cetera. And once I do that, then I put in the address where I want to be picked up. I put in where I am going if I want to know how much it's going to cost. Yes, and you do develop a list of what do you call it, of favorites. So that, for instance, if I want to go back home in Taxi Magic, I have 1805 North
What
Oakland.
planet?
And
Double tap to open.
that's you. Anyway, that's Taxi Magic. Hopefully you get it or you have something similar. You were mentioning Tom.
Home. Taxi Magic.
I'm done, she said. Don't be afraid.
Sorry, we've been given the 5-minute warning, so I'm just gonna talk
Page
through
95.
and show you one more app. We were gonna tell you about something called Hero Planet, which is an app for travelers, which is very cool. It'll give you audio information about places that you're visiting. And that's quite nice.
What's that called?
Here Planet, H-E-A-R space planet. Another app that I find is really cool, sometimes you want to get somebody's attention. For the blind folks here especially, this is something that they never teach you in rehab. When you're sitting in a restaurant and you want to leave and you want to get the waiter's attention. Sighted people seem to have some kind of magic that they do. I don't know what it is. And so if you want to, there's an app on the phone called Make It Big. And you can just write a word, whatever word, and hold your phone up, and the phone is displaying this huge word, and it will be visible across the room. So you can say check these, or all right.
Double app's gonna free. 10 minute Bard Mobile. Big. Double.
I don't know what I have in my
Big.
big
One
red.
please button. One please button.
Yeah, there you go.
One please.
But I'm just going to hold my phone up, not in the dot camera, and probably most of you sighted people can see it. So it's very handy.
Big.
I am going to show you Bard Mobile.
Double tap to open.
Those of you who know
One new item. Bard Mobile.
Bard Mobile is awesome.
Bard Mobile. Winter of the World. The Century Trilogy. Book 2. Heading.
That's the book I was reading on my Bard Mobile. It has 4 tabs at the bottom.
Bookshelf. Tab. 1 of 4. Get books. Tab. 2 of 4. Settings. Tab. 3 of 4. Selected. Now reading. Tab. 4 of 4.
So we can skip by,
Jump by part. Button.
jump by part,
Double tap next.
Next,
Button.
previous.
1. Button.
fast
Play.
forward.
Button.
I can play.
It was down, and everyone became tense. Martha went back upstairs. Between the line was leading uniformed police who were to bring that they had dressed Martha after right for conduct.
So I
Stop.
can stop it.
Bookshelf.
And you
Tab.
can
1 of 4.
speed it up or slow it down. I think I was running it at about 150%, but it speeds up very, very nicely.
Bookshelf. Tab. 1 of
If you
4.
go to bookshelf,
Bookshelf. Select category. Edit. Button. Audiobooks. 12 items. Audio magazines. 0 items. Braille books. 2 items.
And yes, it can display Braille books with a Braille display. We haven't talked much this morning about Braille displays and iDevices, but they work extremely well together. Both Doug and I use a Braille display with our iDevices and have very, very good luck with that. So that's Bard Mobile. The only other major area that I'm not going to get a chance to show you, unfortunately,
Bard Mobile.
is the whole area of
Double tap to open.
photography with a phone. I mean, blind people haven't had much experience with photography up till now, and now we have apps that are specifically designed for blind people to take pictures of things and have somebody else tell you what it is. And this is so cool. There's 2 major ones. There's one called VizWiz that probably a lot of you know about. You can actually take a picture, record a question, and we had a little device that had all kind of little ports and switches on the back. We didn't even know what they all were. Took a picture of it, said, "Can you tell me what these are in what order?" And I got an answer back that first one is this, second one is that. I mean, you know, these were the times we had to wait for somebody to come around to tell you these things. Now you can just take a picture, or you can email them. You don't even have to send it to the VizWiz service. You can email it to a friend or a family member, and they can tell you. There's also one little simpler one called TapTapC, and TapTapC just identifies the object. You don't interact, it decides what it wants to tell you. It's rather frustrating when you take a picture of a bottle of wine and it says bottle of wine, like, duh, I knew that. You know? Thanks, guys. But I really believe that photography is one of the coolest things. For example, my bank, you can deposit checks by just taking a picture of the check. I haven't been able to do it successfully. And this is something I am still working on. And there's got to be ways for a blind person to reliably take a picture of a check and get it into the bank. There are color identifiers that don't work too well. There are text readers. There's scanning. We're kind of getting better. The best one I've found for that is Text Grabber. It's a mainstream one, not a blindness one. There are blindness ones that I don't think work too well. Say Text and Text Detective. But Text Grabber, I actually can get some text and get an idea of what it is. But I do think photography is where we're heading. There's a calculator. You're going to need a calculator on that job. Talking Scientific Calculator is one that's developed for the blindness market, and it's very good. And of course, there's always note-taking with your iPhone. So I don't know why they call this thing a phone. I think you can actually make and receive phone calls with it. I heard of that. Do we have time for just a question or two? One question. Who's the lucky person?
Page 1 of 5.
We have a microphone, we can get it to the person.
Calendar. Friday. Nothing now.
We're gonna bring you a microphone.
One question.
All the way in the back.
I wanted to ask your quick feedback about a technology that I work with. It's a kind of dinosaur technology, and I'm trying to figure out whether it is worth trying to keep alive. I've recently become manager of the Gateway Radio Reading Service, which has reading newspapers and magazines 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But with new technologies coming online, it may be that there's no need for it anymore, and I'd love to have your notion of that now, and anyone else today who runs into me and wants to give me their feedback, I'd be very welcome.
I'll give you mine. The advantage of a radio reading service is when you turn it on, it talks. When you turn it off, it stops. And for a lot of people, that's a very useful thing. So my advice to you is find out how many people are using your service and talk to the consumers in your area and find out if people want to use your service. Thanks very much.